LaKyla, Amelio, welcome to the MSUMDragons Podcast. How are you guys today?
I'm doing good.
First of all, I don't know if you see this, but I'm wearing my cross-country championships because we're talking about cross-country today. Where are you guys at? What's going on in your lives today?
So I'm back at home in New Mexico, Upper Fruitland, and now I'm just focusing on finishing school up, doing my finals, and then catching up on work, and then getting back into training and spending time with family and running at home, enjoying the weather.
Thanks.
I'm in Cathedral City, California right now, and I'm basically doing the same as LaKyla, just getting back into training since we had like a 2-week gap. So last week we started training, so that was good.
So you're both in warmer places in here. I'm not going to lie. We were talking about weather a little bit beforehand. It snowed in New Mexico today?
It snowed yesterday. It snowed yesterday just a little bit, and it snowed like at 9 o'clock, and it was like really wide outside, and like I don't know how many, like a couple minutes after I went outside, it was all gone. It melts super fast, and it sucks because snow does not last here. Like the most it'll last is like for a couple days, but that's about it.
It does snow here, as you know, and it does stay. It's actually beautiful. I think it's like 40 degrees outside right now, which is crazy for December.
Yeah.
It's sunny, there's no wind, and so God, it's just a beautiful day in Moorhead. So I do want to start with kind of where you're at, LaKyla, in New Mexico. Tell us a little bit about home, and we're going through all of our fall sports as we weren't able to compete, and cross country, and it's all because of COVID. And I know you're in a place that's super heavy hit by COVID, and just tell me about kind of your home and what's going on there.
It's actually really crazy with COVID right now. So me and my sister and my little sister are the only 3 out of my entire family that haven't caught COVID. Like it hit my entire household here about 2 months ago. And then it hit my entire grandma's house. There was like 9 of them in there. It hit every single one of them. And it's not good. It's actually really scary. So and so I've been staying home a lot, and I've been good about like disinfecting my hands, and there's just so much you can tell about this. I just don't know where to go with this story. But so being home, it is good to be home because I can go outside, I can enjoy the fresh air. Like being home, it's like being home is so different. Like the air you breathe, it's different than Minnesota. Like Minnesota, it's cold, so your lungs just feel like ice. But here I breathe, like it just smells like I don't know, like the weeds here, like the plants just have a certain smell, and it feels so good. And then when I run with my dogs, it just gives me so much energy. Like when I come home, I just get so much energy fueled in me. So yeah.
Well, cool. It's hitting everybody. I know. I think my sister and I are the only 2 people in our family as well. My mom, my dad, my half sister, my grandma, my only living grandma, who's 95, will be 95, got it, and she's okay. So I totally know where you're coming from, and having your whole family have it and being careful. Thank God it hasn't hit our house yet, and it's just trying to do everything we can to stay safe. Knowing that, the Fargo-Moorhead area is kind of dark in the areas of COVID on the map, and North Dakota and South Dakota and kind of our surrounding areas are all kind of getting hit super hard right now as far as numbers. And then you go home to a little bit more of the same. Has to be like, God, can I just get away from this thing for a little bit? So I'm assuming it's a little frustrating, in the situation there. It has to be different than obviously here. Just the services and everything that are provided. But I'm glad you're able to find some opportunities to train and get some warmer, fresh air, even though it snows in New Mexico. Who knew?
Yeah.
Amelio, tell us a little bit about what you're doing over there in California, where you're at, and what's going on with you.
So right now, I'm just trying to stay like in my bubble with my family because California is supposed to go on lockdown in January, apparently. And there's been a couple of counties that have already been locked down. Like there's no like gyms or restaurants. So it's pretty bad, especially in California. I know that with the COVID situation, my during Thanksgiving, I was supposed to have my sister come over and her baby, well, my nephew, but she wasn't able to come over because she had COVID. And then I found out while I was gone, like three of my friends had COVID, and then my brother had COVID, and my sister had COVID. Thankfully, my mom and my dad haven't had COVID, or my grandma. But even myself during the summer, I had COVID. So like everyone I know like has had some like COVID, which really sucks, especially since like I've noticed when I go running out even now, like I put on my mask, but there's like so many people without masks. It's like it's really obnoxious. But that's why I just when I go for my run, I just like try to veer away from people. I don't go out too often. Like when I came back from Minnesota, I was really paranoid because we had gone shopping and there's so many people like in one store. And I was like, why is there so many? Because I'm used to Moorhead where there's like no one. And it's really crazy. But the transition, like already, even for like a week, I'm getting used to it, but it's like it I'm like so anxious about it. So that's
Yeah.
my situation with that. But other than that, training, I think it's the first week I completed it, so it's been good so far.
Yeah, you're definitely not alone with the anxiety of all of this stuff, man. I've got a 4-month-old tomorrow at home who is a little early, so she's got a immune system watch. Preemies sometimes their immune system takes a little while to develop. Our first one had the same kind of preemie thing, so we have to be super careful and I think grandmas and grandpas haven't met her yet, and 4 months in, and those kind of things are pretty heartbreaking when you start talking about Christmas coming up and things like that, and the anxiety of it, of going places. I hear you. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but you mentioned you had it. Um, Coach Milner told me a little bit about your story coming into MSUM. And a little bit about you told me a story about you being having a history of a burn.
Yeah.
I'm unaware of it. Tell me a little bit about that story.
So when I was in sixth grade going into seventh grade, I had gotten in a fire accident that covered 30% of my body. Like I don't know if you can see that, but there's like
Oh
a
yeah,
patch of skin. Yeah. They took a chunk of skin from my leg and they put it up to from my arm all the way down to like right above my butt. So it's like on my right side, but um that happened in seventh grade, and that took me like 5 months to recover. And I didn't really have a seventh grade, but eighth grade it was better. And since they gave me steroids to um like recover the or make the process faster of healing,
yeah.
I was growing out all my compression garments to like keep my skin together, my keloids, so it doesn't bubble up. And I wasn't able to wear them, so that's why like sometimes in practice, like if I have my shirt off, like there's like a big scar on my right side. So
Wow. So, that had to be quite a thing to overcome. And
yeah.
um, does it still bother you today? I'm sure in some ways.
Not really. I just have to put on lotion, so it doesn't dry out and then it doesn't tear. But when I was in the cold, it got dry really fast, which in
Yeah.
Minnesota, so that really
Yeah.
sucked. But um, it's other than that, no real big issues. The only thing was that like I remember in high school, I had like asthma from it because of all the flames that went up into like my lungs. So that sucked. But other than that, it's been better.
How do you overcome something like that? Like what do you take from that experience and kind of carry with you every day of when you face challenges that seem overwhelming? Like, I can think of a few examples right now, but do you think that's helped you at all deal with some of the challenges of the recent days?
Yeah, definitely. I remember like I felt in a sense like alone at some points, but I remember that I had so much support around me and people that cared when I was burned. And like I realized even till now I'm not alone. So that's why coming into MSUM, everyone immediately to me is a family because like they're also supportive and so caring. I'm really glad to call, especially everyone on the track team and cross country team, my family, and like even the staff and faculty. They've been really nice. I've had a couple ask, "Oh, what's that on your scar?" or like, "What's that scar on your chest?" And I just tell them usually same story, but yeah, everyone's
Yeah,
really, really nice.
you ever be like, so I was trying to fight Batman, okay, and Harvey Dent through this, do you ever joke about? I mean, hopefully you could joke about it now, but
Yeah, definitely. I've told people like I've like random like crazy stories like yeah, something like Batman. Like I'll just joke around with them usually, but
I
then I'll tell them usually. So
got to find a bright spot sometimes, and especially now, COVID, and LaKyla, we're talking, losing the season. How did that affect you? And I know, I don't know if you're competing in any distance pieces in indoor or outdoor coming up and getting training. I mean, you said you're starting training again, so how has the loss of the fall season kind of affected you, and what's your kind of perspective on it now that it's gone past?
Um, I was super hurt this fall that we didn't get to race. I've been building I've been training super hard for the last 2 years after I found out I was anemic, and once I started
Oh.
working with rebuilding my energy and training smarter, my fitness has been going up like crazy, and the practice times that I've been running this past fall were my race times that I've been running in high school. So I was able to go on my long runs at my race pace in high school, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna kill it in a race once we were able to race. And just like the idea of us not having a race was slowly like diminishing my motivation, and I would there were points where I just would get so frustrated, and I was like, I should just go out and see if I can find a race, or just some so I guess the long runs is what I would do. The long runs I would go extra hard just to have a sense of accomplishment, because the long runs, they just make you feel so tired and you use so much energy. And then we started making TikToks about my long runs, and it just felt so successful. But it hurt a lot. But now I'm just motivated even more to do good, and I've been taking different proteins and collagen, and making sure I'm taking my iron pills just to make sure my body's in top condition. I've been doing more weightlifting to make sure I don't injure any body parts of mine, because there's only 3 girls on the team who didn't get injured this season. And because there was 14 of us when we started the season this fall, there was only 3 of us left in the end, and we were all the ones doing the SAM that Milner gives us. So that's why I'm so focused on lifting, because I don't want to get injured. And yeah.
And that's kind of the unsung thing that we've talked about in a lot of behind the scenes conversations. With inactivity, there comes injury, and especially in such a physically demanding thing. I mean, my wife was a cross country runner in high school, and I remember the shirt that she wears every now and again that says, "My sport is your sport's punishment." But it's just interesting to see those injuries, and how careful our athletic training staff has been fantastic in creating some awareness about, hey, when you're inactive and all of a sudden you go at race speed, or you try to train like you used to, injuries can happen more frequently, and just being careful with some of those things and easing back into training and doing some of those things. But you mentioned the anemia thing. How is that kind of affecting you, and how are you, how do you overcome an adversity like that, stay healthy, and continue to make times like you've never made before?
Yeah. When I first overcame it, it's like an entire crazy story. My family, I guess coaches always tell me from high school to you should write a book about your life, because in high school, it was just so crazy. When I started out, I was the little stud is what everyone would call me in 8th grade. They're like, you're going to go to the Olympics, you're going to do this, you're going to go do one. And it pumped me up. I would go to a race, and I was really scrawny. I was 90, 80 pounds, and I was so little. And I would beat the older competitors, and articles were written about me. And then suddenly my freshman year, I fell I went from running 19-minute 5Ks, and then I went to 20s, and then all the way until my senior year, I ran a 28-minute 5K. I got so weak my senior year of high school. I was okay, I guess I'm done running. I guess running's just not meant for me, because I'd go for my runs, and walking just jogging was so tiring to me. I would cry every day. I literally would journal so much. how much it like hurt me. Like I can feel it in my voice again. But like just everything that happened because of my anemia, it affected me. Like I got bullied a lot, like what happened to LaKyla, or just the coaches, like my high school coaches, they really loved me when I was fast, but sorry. And then once I got slow, some of them gave up on me. Sorry.
No, we don't want you to cry anymore
Yeah.
about it. And I'm hoping that MSUM has given you an opportunity to turn that around.
Yeah.
And anemia is some. I mean, I remember I was unaware of it completely until athletic training started to talk about it being more frequent amongst our athletes than usual recently. And I know you were one of those athletes. And so, how is seeing those fast times again, seeing those moments come back where you're performing the way you feel like you should be, and then having some control over understanding what's been stopping you? I mean, that had to be such a block. To all of a sudden, then you have an answer, and then you go to work with treatments, and now you're starting to see it. And then all of a sudden, the fall gets pulled out. And I mean, it's tough, and I know it's hit you, it's hit everyone really hard. How do you move forward? How do you keep a perspective of, and Amelio too, you both have you've both had some adversity in your background. How do you use those moments to gain a better perspective on all of the crap of today and move forward with a positive attitude and a confidence that things are good, and just keep that positivity?
I guess when Milner recruited me, it seemed like no one really wanted me from colleges. So now that I know, like, I went to a school that really wanted me, because when I talked to Milner on the phone, he's like I was talking to him about running there, and he just for some reason I just felt a connection through the phone. He was like, "You can run here, yes. Like, we want you. Like, we want your times." Like, and I was like, "Okay." And I was talking to my family, and I was like, "This school really wants me." I was like, he completely ignored all my times from high school except for my senior year when I finally got my anemia during the springtime. I was finally able to run fast because I handled my anemia. And once he recruited me, it was like a game changer. Like, automatically it snapped for me. I was like, okay, this is my new school. I'm going to start training hard. And just knowing I have a coach that really cares about me and mentally, physically, emotionally, like, it just motivates me so much, because every time I'm done, he's like, "Good work," or like he'll talk to me personally. And people know Milner as a quiet person, but he gets really involved in an athlete's life, and he's always asking me like, "Hey, are you okay?" Or like when I would come home from breaks, he would be like, "How's break? Like, how's this? How's family?" Like, he's like a family member to me now, and he probably doesn't know that yet, but like, I've gotten really close to him.
Well, he will soon. I mean, it's not like we're doing a podcast right now.
Yeah, but he just motivates me overall, and he just tells me like, "You're capable of this, and this is how we're going to get there." And he just has a whole plan set out for me, and it's like, as long as I follow it, I know we'll go through with it. So that's how I stay motivated, is I just keep following whatever Milner says, and I know whatever he tells me I can do it, because I'm going to do everything I can to make sure things finally turn out right for me, because I don't want to fail again. I think I'm really done with failing. But yeah.
No, I think you hit on a couple of important things, especially having that support system and people who believe in you, a plan. We talk so often about how in tough times, working towards a plan or a goal is one of the best ways to get through tough times. And so having a plan from a coach and someone who has your back, having that support system that Amelio was just talking about with the family of the cross country track and field team. And that's why we talk about this podcast and the things that are more than a game. We can talk about the support systems on the academic side as well. It is different. It's really kind of cool to be a part of that, and all these the lives of all of you. It's why I do what I do, and why we're sitting here right now, is because we're helping each other out. We're a community. We love each other. We care about each other. We want to see each other succeed. I want to brag about you as much as I possibly can on every single social media outlet that'll probably listen to us obnoxiously if I can. And so we're really excited to compete, hopefully again very soon. Amelio, talk a little bit about that, about how you kind of keep that perspective going forward, and what kind of helps you get through this.
Well, so for me, it's again the support system of great members of MSUM, and especially for me, uh, like I try to. It's hard to be like positive, especially during COVID, because I know I was during the spring, I was supposed to have a track season for my senior year, and I was supposed to I was going for the school record for the 2 mile, and then that got taken away from me. I wanted to be like a champion at something for once, and just prove that everything I've done since my freshman year, um, like built up and carried that with me to college. But obviously got taken away. And I tried to train, but during the summer, thinking there was gonna be a season still, but obviously it got taken away. And then I was thinking of going to a community college because I had just given up, and I was actually either that or I was gonna go quit and just not run anymore. But Coach Milner reached out to me, and like my times were the out of all the freshmen that got recruited, mine were the slowest. And I think that even with my times, I felt like he had some sort of hope with me. Like LaKyla said, also my high school times were also not that fast. So I think I really trusted Milner, even with the minimal. Well, we didn't really talk that much over the phone because, I didn't. It was like I was recruited really late too, so that didn't help. But I really trusted Milner. I saw his program. I saw how he transformed kids or people like LaKyla into like an amazing freshman athlete as when she was as a freshman and when they had the season. So I really trusted him, and I chose MSUM obviously, and just mainly the positivity around that people gave to me. That we're all in this together. Like no one's alone through COVID. So I think that's mainly the best idea to have that type of mindset.
Well, I'm sensing a theme here of a guy who likes to take a chance on people who he sees potential in. And I know Coach Milner, have for a long time. Yes, he is a quiet guy, but if you pop into his office, he'll talk your ear off because he genuinely cares. And I know that from a colleague perspective. I see him do that with all of his athletes on a frequent basis. It's now a little bit more spread apart than usual. And it was even funny in the fall when we were doing workouts, walk through the hallways, and he would do a Zoom in his office, and everyone would have the phones in their little groups in the hallway, and you were each watching Milner's kind of words of the day. You can see that there's a lot of people in that room who are led by someone who really genuinely cares. So I know that that's important for all of us to find those people who care, lean on each other. And it's great to have someone believe in you. And I know that as someone who was a walk-on, not recruited, and I got a chance to play. And I know exactly where you guys are coming from, being overlooked and underappreciated and bullied growing up. It's a tough rap, but it's an opportunity when you go to college to create your own identity and create a new meaning of what your life is going to be and what it's about. And so it's been fun to follow the beginnings of your guys' journeys. It is definitely not the end, and I'm excited to see what's coming up next. So tell me about what is coming up next for you, for both of you. I know we're back at home, and you've come from long distances to MSUM, so that's got to be an interesting aspect to all of this. But what's up next, getting ready for this winter season and possibly this spring as we try to navigate this situation?
I guess what's up next is the indoor season. Hopefully we get an indoor season. I'm not sure if it's promised, but I know there's even if we do race, it won't count against us. So that's pretty good. I really like that because I still want to race and then have another season. That's a bonus. I guess it's just being able to race again because we haven't raced in so long. Like, I don't know how it's going to go. And that's really exciting, but scary at the same time. And then starting up classes again. It was really weird having all my classes online. It was hard to keep up, and it was like, what's due? Is this due? And then you like wake up the next day, it's like, oh my God, this is due in like 3 hours. Like, how could I forget? It's just not having a professor to see face to face and like, hey, this is due. Like, it's just, I remember when a professor tells me something. I can't remember when like I read it off a computer. So it's just adjusting more to this, whatever this pandemic is going on. So hopefully that can ease down a bit, and then we can start getting back into our normal lives. That's what I'm hoping for.
Do you want to go?
Oh, my bad.
It's all good.
For me, I mean, I'm used to online, online schooling or college, whatever. So, it'll be like seem normal to me. It kind of sucks I didn't get the freshman experience, but I'm totally fine with that. But as for indoor, I really hope we do get indoor. Last time we had a team meeting, it looked like we were having an indoor season, and again, like LaKyla said, it wasn't going to count against us, so that'll be good. I would really like to go to as a team or like have a lot of people go to championships, the NSIC indoor championships. I think that's what it's called. But I would really like to see what's like running college, especially since the big transition between events and stuff. And I really want to see how everyone else races or performs. Just have that great energy and positivity around teammates, and that's really like what I look forward to this season.
Yeah, and not only that, but you have great leaders on your teams. LaKyla, you're becoming the leader of the team, one of the leaders on the team, and so there's some beautiful things I think in both of your guys' future, and I'm excited to be a spectator and a promoter of those things because I know you're two great individuals who have overcome a lot, and now you kind of get to grab the reins and show people what you can do, and I'm excited to see that. So thank you both for joining me on the podcast today. That's all the time we have. And of course, go Dragons.
Thank you.